next day and you're knackered.
After him, boys! We're not ahead of them all!
Who cares about them? Blake will sort them out.
And I think music like this doesn't get the publicity it needs.
I got my plan right here.
This could be the man that leads my life.
Good morning and welcome to Early Morning Report on South Coast News with me, Ken Logan. Our first headline is the breaking news of an unearthing of an ancient artefact being given the name The Device. The artefact, or device, was excavated from the ground late last night by Professor Percy Gort of Sussex University and his team, part of their archaeological dig at the top of Sisbury Ring in the West Sussex town of Worthing. It is not yet known where the item originates from, or exactly how old it is. The item's function has also caused much debate. Early grainy images have found their way onto the internet, opening a much heated discussion on many online forums where already many users have aligned themselves with the idea that this is a fake, forgery. For an item of this kind could not last this long underground without decay. One fact is true, there has been an unrecognised power signature emanating from the device.
It's secure.
Excellent. Get every second of this. Make sure we get this in one piece. We only have one chance at this.
On three. 1, 2, 3.
The camera's not working.
No matter.
As we speak, our roaming reporter Paul Roderick is live on Sisbury Ring. Paul, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, Ken. I'm here at the base of Sisbury Ring with Professor Gort's assistant, Mike Renner. So, Mike, what will happen to the artefacts now it's been excavated from the ground?
The professor's going to take it back to the lab for some extensive research.
And will you be involved in these tests?
A little, but I'll mostly be working on the drawings and images of the cave walls surrounding the artefact. I've got sketches of them which I need to look at when I get back. I was unable to take any pictures of the actual images in the cave as the flash could damage the images. Once I've got this home, I'll be researching them and seeing if it will have any information that I can find on the origins and function of the artefact.
I dreamt that 1,000 years ago I could have been a cacophony of colours, like the flickering lights of a TV screen, telling me truths I didn't want to hear. Then I awoke. A world before truth, facts and insincerity became the new sincerity. I can remember when I was once like you, with my TV, a flickering neon sun bathing the room, warm. We'd all watch the one-eyed god. It would show us, yet that morning it began the abyss that would engulf us all. There'd been a discovery atop Sisbury Ring, a vast hall that had been found beneath the folds of mud, a deep moor into the belly of the earth herself, and within these grim catacombs marched the men of science and their many tools of maths and reason. Yet what reason, what geometry could they ascribe to the unfathomable angles and the lines of the depictions carved on the clay walls around them? And what sense could they bring to the artefact that lay at the heart of that strange and hidden place? That bewitching object that the damnable temple had been built around. They could bring none, so they simply stole it.
and welcome to the Views Reviewed. I'm Todd Wyman. Today's hot topic is the discovery of an artefact so claimed by its discoverer to be a tool to create renewable energy for the whole world. And if true, it could have come along at a better time. With the world in crisis, food shortages are all too commonplace and the energy is running short. But hey, this could all be just too convenient. To my right, Professor Hayward, a world-renowned particle engineer, and to my left is the discoverer of what he's calling the device, Professor Gort. Professor, what has led you to make these outrageous claims about something that's no more than a piece of carved stone that you've found in the ground?
Well, a test show that emanating from the device is a constant but ever recycling energy signature. One that I believe, if we could unlock the signature and somehow harness it, we could possibly use it to generate free, clean electric energy for the whole country, possibly the whole world.
How have you actually discovered this power signature if it's unrecognisable?
Well,
and if its impact is as profound as you supposedly say, where is the evidence and why have you not allowed other scientists access to analyse it?
Said like a true thinker, Hayward. Gort, you're a retort.
Well, it's not just me working on it. There's a whole team of scientists.
Your own team, Professor, made up of scientists hand-picked by you for what is nothing more than a basic archaeological dig. Something of not much interest to a world in crisis coming from a man whose own papers are of questionable fact. Couldn't this just be a simple attempt to drum up much needed money and media for more questionable projects?
What is this? I mean, I thought two respectable thinkers like us could discuss these kind of matters in peace without resorting to the lower begging ad hominem attacks.
The views are what we're here to review, Gordon. There's many holes in these facts that we're talking about. I need sums added up here.
Just because a power signature is recycling does not make it everlasting. It could simply be winding down to a point.
And what's your point, Hayward?
My point is that nothing the Professor has said is conclusive. It's all wild speculation, and there is no way a stone artefact that is said so only by Professor Gort could possibly be producing any kind of power signature except that of possibly residual magnetism from minerals inside the rocks. This is all fake.
I think he's just trying to get on my show.
I find your ignorance credible. However, kind of closed-mindedness I'm hearing from Professor Hayward I find much more hard to believe.
Then show me the evidence.
Please let me finish. I have evidence. I mean, I have the evidence, although I haven't published it at this point because there's no point in putting something in the public realm unless I have something conclusive to say about what this evidence means.
But you're happy to make up wild speculations just to get yourself into the news.
I don't have to be spoken to like this.
Let's cool this hot teapot down. What gives you the right to say this is true and what gives you the right to say this is fake? I need the what-ifs added up here. Gort, what is it?
Well, there's no actual answer as of yet. All I can say is something that Professor Hayward mentioned earlier. Myself and the team have been monitoring this device for a while, and every time this energy signature returns to its 0 point, it always comes back at the same strength and the same density every cycle.
Hayward?
Well, if we take what the Professor says, and this is without any kind of scientific fact at hand, but the power signature could just be residual, a lesser form of something else. Possible, not electrical, because it would fluctuate. Think of a spring being forced down. The power of the spring can only be felt when the spring is being forced down. But only once the spring is sprung do you see what the power was built up for.
What does any of this mean?
Well, I think what it means, what my colleague is trying to convey is that the energy in the device is somehow like a coiled spring, a spring waiting to be sprung, or maybe even switched on.
No. You're implying that there's some kind of technology in this device which is utterly impossible. It could merely need other atoms or electrons to unlock the cycle of its pattern. It could simply be winding down to a point.
Like a countdown?
No.
A message waiting to be recorded?
No. This is out of hand. This isn't something to be played with or switched on.
It was to be switched on.
And what would give you the right to switch it on? And what would give you the right to tell him not to?
Well,
join me after the break for more of your views reviewed.
They argue. For weeks they argue, shoving graphs and depictions in each other's faces, throwing statistics like spears. Reputations were smashed, careers ruined. All for this thing, this artefact carried from the earth. Twisted rods of flint no bigger than my head, each one scarred with long departed acid.
Can anyone hear this?
Anyone? I didn't think I'd be the only one. Is there anybody? Don't know how much power's left in the world. Anyone?
Well, they've gone too far, man. They always go too far. They've always got to know. They've always got to interfere. They built the A-bomb. They built AIDS. They buried those aliens up in the desert, man. I mean, that thing was buried for 1,000 years for a reason. 100,000 years for a reason. I mean, I think they should just put it back in the hole and bury it and forget it ever existed. There's just some things in this world, some things in this universe that we weren't supposed to see.
The UK stock market has crashed today amidst fears of a total collapse in global manufacture. The extraction of copper and iron ore reserves has fallen dramatically, as recent studies have concluded both these minerals have been mined to near non-existence, with modern recycling techniques unable to keep up with demand for these resources. Power shortages have become commonplace as power stations across the world fall short of consumer demand. Spokespeople for the largest power providers are speculating that the weight of consumption is impossible to keep up with due to the massive overpopulation in third world countries, who are drastically and radically changing their social and economic structures in order to live their day-to-day lives more akin to Western civilization. With many major world cities now instigating power usage curfews at some points in the day and now even at night, many are asking where this will end. The most densely populated countries. Experts conclude that at the present rate of consumerism and manufacturing decline, we could see a global economic collapse within 5 years and a total social collapse following shortly thereafter.
On the eve of yet another cut in the personal petrol allowance, which for many motorists across the country was set to see their monthly fuel quota slashed by 60%, riots have broken out. The catalyst for these riots believed to be the overwhelming fears upon the experiments of the device. Though many people believe it will answer all our problems, many others, plus many religious groups, believe it is dangerous, and there is massive public outcry for it to be handed over for less closed doors testing.
They dodged and weaved, how they ran from the simple truth of what it was. They used theories as shields, words as armour to protect them from its nature. The impossibilities, they said, incredible, ridiculous. As they explained it to me as I sat at home, I knew it could never be the one thing the men of reason agreed upon. A radio. They demanded these questions of all who believed. They scoffed at the answers, all the uneasy knowledge of what they saw drawn on those cave walls, the mere lines carved into clay that would frame so much fear. And if this was Neolithic, they pondered, how could they construct such a thing? And if they were capable, What transmission could they possibly pick up or send? Yet these men of reason pressed on, but in one moment all maths and reason became void, because they heard, my God, we all heard. In those seconds of light and sound, we were all asked a question. In that moment, I said no. I refused to go. I refused to be dragged in tow. I owed the world. A debt needs to be repaid. I had gained life. I owed the world my death. Why would I want to be eternal, when age and the ever-slaying of our cells regenerating is our aid? The help we're given to come to terms with who we are. There is no time, and time doesn't matter now. It's the mind's neurosis. Its invention to explain change. I don't want to live forever. I want to sleep and live in memory, my dreams of splendour. This may be my ending, but this is just another beginning. The world will bury to remember.